Oh, you know, car builds are one of those things where you have no idea how much it'll actually cost until you're already there.
I declare bankruptcy!
Usually with like credit card debt. You just look at your credit card, you like cry a little bit, and then you go on with your life, okay? Because we're adults, and we just go in debt on things we know we shouldn't. So while we are nearing the end of the first phase of this really ugly S2000, I thought I'd share with you how much it costs to build the thing because everybody keeps asking, and for me, I don't really care because this thing has been the most fun car I've probably owned in a hot minute. I'm Alex, AlexMartini with 2 underscores, and I appreciate all the love in the comments. So be sure you drop one and let me know what you want to see happen over the next build, which is like this funky Gloria as it turns into the internet car. This car is also a blast. It's the homie hauler. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell so we can keep making these videos, and if you want to support more than that, you can come pick up a comfy tee, okay, at alexmartini.net. The S2000, all right, has been in my sphere of friends for 7 years. It's been actually around for a long time. I remember seeing this car, I think like slightly after me realizing that Hondas were actually kind of cool. And it started its life as a car modified with some XXRs, some Kumos, a rep hardtop, an NVIDIA exhaust, I think. And it was okay. Like, it was all right, okay? It looked really good though. The car over time though would really start to get crusty. Fenders started to get peeled out and Plasti Dip faded on some pieces and it wouldn't come off, and yeah. Prior to me owning it, it did have a high compression K-series that was swapped in there that killed the odometer and the speedometer, and still to this day, it doesn't work. So things got odd from there with tablets and vents and gauges that didn't work and some capped coolant lines because you don't really need those when it's just a garage build, and it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But it then became 2021, okay? And the car was sold to me as is. I picked it up for $11,000. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't really bad. It was a clean title, so we went with it. The engine needed to be redone completely, and so we ended up going with a K24A with all new gaskets, new seals. We had an OEM timing chain we added to it, a K-tune tensioner, K20 oil pump to delete the balance shafts, and all that put together was right around $1,400. Then we went into modifying the Skunk 2 intake manifold with the new throttle body adapter to make it work that we had to do again because it didn't work the first time. For a clutch, we ended up having to go with an FX400 clutch kit and an aluminum flywheel. The good old turbo, the best part, is a PTE 6262, and that's obviously my favorite part right next to the HKS super sequential blow-off valve, okay? What makes it special to me though is the fabrication and the positioning of it, because I think the turbo in its current spot looks absolutely sick. If you've seen other turbo S2000s, you can tell the people that do the custom fab work, because usually the turbo's like in the passenger headlight, or it's out of the hood, or it's like someplace, you know, where it's not supposed to be. Every single time you kind of see it sunken in. I do really still like it. It's just not my cup of tea. I like when it looks like it's supposed to be there. When it's sunken in, it kind of looks like it was tossed in and gravity just let it lay wherever it wanted to. So we ended up doing something with a little bit more custom fab, which obviously meant a little bit more money. Now, when it comes down to injectors, we didn't go too crazy because we actually didn't want to go all the way to the end of this path on this engine. We wanted there to be some space if we wanted to play with some more power. So we went with injector dynamics, they're 1050cc. And like I said, we could have gone bigger if we wanted more power, but we tried to stay under 500 as the car was gonna be going through another transformation. And I wanted to actually be good with the car on lower horsepower versus just getting a ton of horsepower out of it and crashing the car, because I do want this ultimately to become a time attack car, just not yet. Now I know 16-year-olds hate to hear it, but this car does not need even as much power as it has now. What I need is better brakes. Even with the Goodrich brake lines, the brake pads and rotors, we could still use something there for our track events, because I really don't know if I trust them all that much for how much we're gonna be abusing them. So all in parts, no labor, we were about $6,500 into the engine, trans, clutch pieces. The transmission research was all labor and fab work and all of that stuff. Probably cost us another $6-ish grand. The tuning we got at a discount, but it was still $500 to be ready to rock and roll. We ran the car through some like experts to ensure that the car could handle the abuse, which I thought it could, but we've done some hard stuff to this car. Like, I don't know, make sure it was actually okay. So that cost us another $2,500. And then of course, we went with some good old wheels and tires. And since I love having as much grip as possible, we went with some Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. And just with this current set, narrow body, it's probably right around $2,100 if you want to do a setup like this, which is decent. Like, All in, we were doing pretty good. The engine was worth it. The trans, good. The diff, we kept stock. We know that's gonna blow up 100%, but I didn't wanna pull the trigger on it just yet, mostly because I just wanted the car to drive this summer, because unfortunately I wasn't able to get it to the actual YouTube if we continue to work on it. So besides that, we're good. We rolled some fenders, that was no cost, besides the fact that we just like tore into our thumbs and completely smashed our hands on like the actual fenders. So at this time, I wanna say, with everything, and even as ugly as it looks, we're probably in at about $28,000.
Jesus Christ.
The car was like 11 grand. The engine parts was 6,500, so that's 1750 or 17.5. Fabrication and labor and insurance for people that knew what they were doing was like 8,500, so it's like 26,000, 26-ish. Wheels and tires were 21-ish, so 28-ish, give or take. The thing does not look like a $30,000 car at all, okay? And it probably could have been done cheaper without the turbo and without the additional power, but I want power.
And more power, baby. More power, baby. More power, baby.
Okay, buying a car that already had a chunk of hands in the engine bay, I knew that we were gonna have to start fresh pretty much no matter what. Plus it's 22 years old, okay? No discredit to the previous owners, but it just happens. And I think the real question a lot of times people ask me, because the ones that do know that I put a little bit of cash in here is like, would you do it again? And I'd say absolutely, all right? Because we are. Over the next 2 months, we're gonna be making this car go from 0 to hero, because if I needed to deflect internal emotional issues, what better way to do that than materialistic items that kind of don't matter and just buying more stuff for a car I can't afford because I'm still trying to figure it out. So we're partnering with some of the biggest brands to make it happen, all right? APR Performance, we're putting a wide body on this bad boy, and it's gonna be functional and it's gonna be useful, okay? Because we're throwing bigger wheels and bigger tires. We're throwing Michelin tires on it. We're still keeping the Fortunatos because we love those. VR forged wheels, we're doing one-piece Fords, gonna be awesome. We're gonna be going with some good old status racing seats. We got some lighting companies coming on board. We're doing a functional wide body and time attack next year. And of course, we set the deadline for Slammed Enough Gatlinburg, which is like the first weekend of October. So let's see if we can actually make it happen. And what I need from all of you is to let me know what color or livery you think we should do on the car so we can begin designing it all. Personally, I'd really like to go with like a super dark ruby red, but I'm not trying to be partial. I'm just trying to tell you that you should pick that so I don't have to tell the wrap company that I already decided. There's a lot of chaos going on with this build. I'm literally filming this as I'm trying to get all the parts put together. So we're as close as we can. I do want to say thank you so much for watching this series. I know it's been short, but I've been really trying to enjoy it as much as possible. And of course, YouTube really likes shorts content right now, but I've been trying to get pillar content out there on this as well. So if you do enjoy it, please be sure to let me know. And of course, please don't forget to follow us over on Instagram at alex.martini with 2 underscores. Thank you so much to everybody coming on board to actually get this car looking not like 2003, but maybe, just maybe, 2019, I would take it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Alex. We hope you enjoyed. We will see you later. Dear God, I don't want to make one of these videos once the second part of this car is done. Hey!